Dyslexia can be a difficult thing to diagnose, especially for educators who may not be trained in identifying it. And that can lead to a reduced learning experience for both the student and the teacher. But as Taylor Jackson reports, help is on the way in Oklahoma.
Oh, this looks like a good one.
I can pop my eyeball.
Did you know
Dyslexia is one of the leading causes of reading difficulties among students. And if undiagnosed or not taught properly, learning can become even more difficult for students.
What we know is that dyslexia is in almost every classroom. About 1 out of every 10 students probably struggle with characteristics of dyslexia.
Michelle Kuiper is an Oklahoma State leader for Decoding Dyslexia Oklahoma, a grassroots movement of parents and educators who work together to raise awareness for dyslexia in Oklahoma. The organization often works with the Oklahoma State Department of Education, or OSDE.
And we began a relationship of partnering together. 2016, we hosted a dyslexia awareness conference for teachers. And ever since then, we've just embarked on this stakeholder process.
That process led to a task force being created with the legislature to develop the Oklahoma Dyslexic Handbook.
And it continues today through a stakeholder process. We're continuing to update that handbook and to offer professional development for our schools.
During professional development, educators learn skills such as explicit phonics, which is when sound and spelling correspondences are taught directly and systematically.
We have launched training for teachers all across the state to ensure that they are teaching reading in a way that doesn't compound the problem, but instead helps children overcome struggles with reading.
Superintendent Joy Hoffmeister, who sits on the OETA board, says this approach will help students who are not yet reading on level.
The approach is to train our teachers with robust, strong professional development so that they're equipped, that they have the latest information, so that they can then work with families and support our earliest readers who are not yet on track.
Hoffmeister says students with dyslexia have every ability to be top readers and performers in school.
But we have to approach reading in a way that helps them decode and build strong phonics base. And there are many steps to that.
Beginning the 2022-2023 school year, students enrolled in kindergarten through 3rd grade at public schools who do not meet grade level targets will be screened for dyslexia.
But to overcome dyslexia, we have to go to the core and first identify those who are struggling, which this new law will do.
Kuiper says while some school districts continue to expand on what they've learned from OSDE, others fall behind.
We're really excited about the work that's happened at the State Department of Education. They've come up with lots of really great guidance, and they've really laid the foundation to how to schools making this change. And now it's up to the district.
Parent Heather Morgan says she became concerned early on with her son's reading and spelling.
We did end up getting him tested, and he was identified with a reading disability in the 1st grade. So he ended up getting a little bit more help, kind of a smaller setting, but it was really the same material. Nothing, the way he was being taught wasn't being changed at all.
Morgan reached out to Decoding Dyslexia Oklahoma to learn how to assist her son.
Started learning, taking classes, went to some law classes on IDEA laws and some dyslexia conferences. Kept taking stuff back to the school.
Hoping her newfound materials would be used to help her child learn better in school, she took the new materials to their school district.
We've presented all this stuff to the school. This is how we need to help him. This is the type of curriculum that he needs to be able to get to where he needs to be, to learn to read, write, and spell. At that point, the school wasn't really equipped to provide him that instruction.
Things have still not improved for Morgan's son, and she continues to advocate for his right to learn.
I'm not sure where the breakdown is, if they're not getting the supports that they need in the classroom. It's been 3 years now of my child not getting the education he's entitled to.
Decoding Dyslexia continues to advocate for families like Heather Morgan and her son by working with OSDE to bring improvements to dyslexic professional development. Taylor Jackson, The Oklahoma News Report.